all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to channelstv.com to see us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and updates, the app has an eyewitness feature. We encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. The Cross River State Governor, Mr. Ben Ayade, has disclosed his administration's plans to partner with Dana Group, a consortium of Indian investors in the areas of airline and pharmaceuticals. The partnership, according to the governor, will lead to the setting up of a state-owned airline to be known as Cali Air, with the Dana Group overseeing its management, as well as the Calabar pharmaceutical company, Calapharm. Governor Ayade disclosed this when he led the managing director and chief executive officer of Dana Group to the site of the Calabar pharmaceutical company currently under construction in the state capital.
Aircraft, which he has agreed to do a detailed guided technical study of the aircraft, which is in Aero Contractor in Lagos. As soon as that is done, he will finalize it, get the aircraft on the air. Once that is done, it's going to be written completely. It's Cali Air, so it's Calabar Airlines. So it will be flying Calabar, flying Obudu, flying Lagos, and of course, fly Abuja. That partnership is, we're in a haste to get Cali Air started. So Calabar will have its own airline, partnership with Dana as the technical operator. And we've also reached a point where we are going to be signing off on that deal. So Cross River State expect a lot to happen. There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of steam, there's a lot of ebuloscopy, there's a lot of excitement in the air, because people truly know that Cross River State will definitely make a difference. Where we're standing here is the Calabar Pharmaceutical Factory. The original intention and spirit of this factory was to provide the drug demand for the proposed Cross River State health insurance scheme. The idea, therefore, is that if Cross River State will be having huge demand for drugs, for our citizens who will be covered under the comprehensive insurance scheme, it then means that we cannot continue to depend on Lagos and imported drugs to be able to support our people. And that's why, as government, we conceived this idea of Calabar Pharmaceuticals and set up Calapharm.
Mr. Ben Ayade, Governor of Cross River State. Now to the aviation sector in general. Some of the challenges facing it have reared their heads once again, as some domestic airlines recently suspended operations, getting the attention of the Ministry of Aviation. We're now joined on News Across Nigeria by the General Secretary, Airline Operations of Nigeria, Mr. Ewo Siroro. You're welcome to the program.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Now, the aviation industry cannot exist in isolation, as it is with some other industries. Do you suppose that what happened to those airlines is a reflection of the economic times?
Well, basically, it's a reflection of what's actually happening in the country at the moment. Aviation is part of the system which works in the national economy. And what has happened to aviation basically is a reflection of the economy itself, because aviation is a barometer that can be used to measure the activity in any economy. So I would agree very much that what we've just experienced is actually a reflection of the economy, basically.
Reports say one of the airlines will resume operations on the 15th, and the Minister of Aviation has begun meetings with stakeholders to prevent job loss in the sector. What do you know of this development, and do you think it will work?
Well, actually, the minister has been in town for the last few days. He came in on Friday. He actually saw the demonstrators and, of course, asked everybody to shift their swords, hopefully till after the meeting today. The meeting is expected to be a meeting between AMCON, who are supposed to be the managers of the airline, and, of course, the airline itself, the management of the airline, to see how they can reach an agreement to ensure that that airline doesn't go under. That's 55 years legacy we are talking about. An airline which, after Nigeria Airways, is the oldest airline in Nigeria. So we hope that the discussions will be constructive enough to consider all players and bring their interests on board, and at the end of the day, save close to 2,000 jobs because the staff strength for aero contractors is close to 2,000, and we are hoping that this meeting will save those jobs.
Do you think, in your view...
This meeting, I hope, will be constructive enough.
Do you think they were given fair warning that this would happen?
Come again?
Do you think they were given fair warning that this was going to happen? Or it came like a bolt out of the blue?
Well, we can keep our fingers crossed. That's what I can say right now. Nobody can look at the crystal ball and decide this is what is going to happen, this is where the cookie is going to crumble through. But everybody's keeping their fingers crossed to ensure that jobs are not lost, because it's a serious challenge if we lose these jobs.
Okay. Operators have often complained of a harsh environment. We've always heard that. What can change to encourage airline operators, to put it in a simplistic
Come again,
fashion?
I didn't get that very well.
Airline operators often complain of the harsh operating environment, the high cost,
Yes.
the high cost of aviation fuel, how hard it is. You know, it's a capital-intensive business. What can change, in your view, that will encourage operators?
Well, basically, government has a lot of work to do with regards to several issues which are affecting our airlines. If you notice, in March, aviation fuel was 105 naira for a liter. Today, that same aviation fuel is selling at well over 220, 240, depending on which part of the country you are in. Aviation fuel alone goes to about 40% of the operational cost. If the aviation fuel has risen by over 100%, it means the operational cost of those airlines have equally risen by the same margin. That's just one aspect of the problem. The issue of foreign exchange. These airlines do business in naira, and they're expected to, of course, maintain their aircraft and do other activities in dollar. Now, the dollar to the naira is, as at today, 420 naira, which means $100 is 42,000 naira. We are talking about simulator, we are talking about C checks, D checks, we are talking about parts that are being brought in, we are talking about so many outgoings, all in dollars. And the foreign exchange is not even available. So the airlines are actually having a Herculean task to maintain their operations. You see, it's a serious challenge, and I'm hoping that government will be able to listen to the airlines, come to an agreement on how they can support the airlines, because the airlines need to be supported. If the airlines go out of business, the Nigerian economy is going to plunge. For instance, we are talking about just one carrier now that has suspended operations. That carrier suspending operations, if it goes under, all the companies that supply catering will go under. The companies that supply fuel will go under. The companies that do ground handling will have to restructure their staff. It's going to be a ripple effect. Families are tied to those 2,000 staff. So we hope that with this, government can really come to the negotiating table, listen to all the issues, then everybody can then lay their cards on the table and say, this is the way forward. If that can be done, the airlines can be salvaged and kept in business. The Nigerian economy will continue to move forward. And this administration is one administration that prides itself in creating jobs. Aviation is where those jobs will be created.
And that's where we'll have to leave it, though. That's where we have to leave it. Sorry to interrupt you, but many thanks for your thoughts on this issue, for speaking with us. Mr. Ewos Iroro is the General Secretary of the Airline Operators of Nigeria. And that is our prayer and hope that the situation is salvaged. When we come back on this break, which we're taking on news across Nigeria, the latest concerning the Bank of Industry Customers Forum. Stay with us.